a Demonyo altar table from the 1600s to the 1700s in Balayong or Tindalo, and an altar table, a Demonyo table, from the late 1700s in Nara with rococo influence. In this instance, I'm putting together two mesa altar or altar tables, one earlier and one a little later, but from a construction and style point of view have a lot of relatedness. On top of this would have been placed a saint and maybe some candles. At Christmas, maybe some nativity scenes. But these are domestic pieces. We know that from the scale of them, but influenced by church design. This piece is probably from the 1600s. This piece is from the 1700s, probably more 1750s. We know that because stylistically there are rococo elements. And in this case, we know it's an earlier piece because we have many excellent examples of this type, this Demonyo table type in Tindalo or Balayong. We have the typical mask or Demonyo face. It could be that Chinese time-eating elemental. This is Tindalo or Balayong. It's a purple brown wood, and this is more of a golden figured Nara. These pieces, construction-wise, are related to Ming Dynasty furniture because they are made by Chinese craftsmen who are imported by the Spanish originally into the Parian, which we know is the world's oldest Chinatown, right outside Spanish Intramuros. And then eventually the Chinese move on to other places, such as this piece probably is Pampanga or Laguna, and then Leyte and Bohol, in the centuries after, to create and intermarry with Filipinos and create very deep kind of craft that's globalized and fused from an early point. I want to zero in a little bit on this one, because this one is more atypical, it's more transitional. It has elements that are European as well as Chinese, which for me feels very globalized Filipino, right? So it's a simplified rococo. Rococo is it's an aristocratic point of view that originated in architecture in Sweden, Italy, France, as a reaction to the church's imposition of a serious, heavy Baroque style meant to assert the power of the church in architecture, and then a reaction in aristocratic architecture away from that in the 1720s to the 1790s. So this piece is probably within that period of the 1700s. Here you have a leaf turning into a sort of a Chinese cloud here, and I love how that fusion is happening there. We do see some metal nails here. In the 1600s, these are probably made in the Philippines, or they're imported from Japan or China. And the four posts are held together by a frame top. You can see where the mortise and tenon joints lock it in, and the stretcher also locks it in. So in two places, the carcass is solidified, and that happens because there's not a lot of furniture in the 1600s and the 1700s. These are very precious. They're meant to store as well as be tables for worship. And so they're moved. And sometimes the ground floor floods, and these have to be transported to a second floor or to a dry location. So they're definitely moved. When we open it, this definitely shows an original piece. We put our fingers here to feel that there is indeed a hole here, which is where the tongue would have gone in and locked the piece. Right? It's a little lower than your typical altar table, but I still feel it has great proportions and is clearly the work of a master from a provincial area. Thank you.